Investing into real estate properties is one of the best methods for producing passive income. So in this video, I'll be sharing a step-by-step guide on how you can use properties to generate passive income. And I will actually be using a recent property project that we have been working on here in the UK as an example. The property was initially in quite a bit of a mess. We then renovated that property and then rented it out. So now it produces us a nice steady stream of passive income away from a typical 9-to-5 job. So if this is something you're also interested in doing, then do make sure to stick around till the end. Hey, what is up people? Welcome back to our channel, Ralph Finance UK. So let us get straight into it. A lot of people have made a lot of money from real estate, and considering the times that we're in, with how unemployment has shot up so much recently due to this pandemic, it has never been more important to build another stream of income aside from your 9-to-5 job. I'll tell you one fact. For rich people, only 8.6% of their total income comes from their salary. The other 91% comes from their investments, and one of these is almost always real estate. Now for us, the ultimate goal in properties is to generate passive income. So the way it works, you buy a property, you fix it up, you rent it out, and then you refinance to have little or no money left in that deal, and then you repeat. Now with real estate, you definitely do have to do the upfront work in finding a property first, planning the renovation, and finding a managing agent. And once they find tenants, it then starts to become more passive. It may never truly be passive. I mean, you'll still probably get phone calls regarding the property, but what you'll find is that you do need to spend a lot less time once it is up and running. So we can somewhat call it passive. So the property deal we have been recently working on is a 2-bedroom terrace property in the north of England. It is currently let out, but I wanted to share the journey of this property from start to end. So first, I'll show you some photos of the property when we first purchased it, including the renovation as well, and the before and afters, and then we'll go on to the numbers. So this is the condition we bought the property in, and as you can see, it was in a pretty terrible condition. It is pretty clear that there was a lot of work that needed to be done if we wanted to let this property out. But this presents an opportunity for us to buy a property at a discount and then to add value. So in terms of the renovation, this is what the kitchen looks like now. So we got some new kitchen units in, a new cooker, new flooring. We also sorted out a leak in the ceiling, and then we painted the walls, the ceiling and the doors. For the living room, we repaired all of the damages and then painted using neutral colors so that it appeals to the masses. And then same again in the bedrooms, just general repairs, new carpets, and we painted everything so that it looks nice, clean and fresh. So you can see that the property did need a lot of work, but I do think it has been an excellent transformation. Now with properties, there's actually 3 ways to bring in income. The first one is we can add value to the property by buying a house that needs some work and then fixing it up so that it's worth more than what we have spent. So for example, if you buy a property for £100,000 and then spend £10,000 for a refurb and then it's worth £130,000, then you would have created an additional £20,000 of value. Number 2 is capital appreciation. Property prices have increased in value over the long term, and this graph shows the average price of a property in the UK for the last 50 years. And we can see that we had a property crash in 1989 that lasted for around 3 years before the prices started to rise again. Then we had the Great Recession in 2008, where we saw the property prices drop by around 20% over a period of 16 months. But even taking all of this into account, you can still see that general trend of property prices is upwards. And now the final type of income you can generate from properties is rental income. This is what makes investing into properties very attractive, because every year while you own that property, it will bring in rental income. Whether we are in a recession or a booming market, rental income is pretty constant. Now before I go on to the numbers, I just want to say if you are finding value out of this video, then do hit that thumbs up button. That way you get more of my videos recommended to you. So let us talk through the numbers. Typically these 2-bedroom properties in the north of England cost around £30,000 to £40,000 to buy. Now if you're prepared to do a lot of viewings, make multiple offers and negotiate hard, especially if the property needs a lot of work, then you could end up paying closer to that £30,000 mark or even less. But we're going to base the calculations on a £40,000 purchase price, which is what you would typically pay for a property that doesn't need much work. Now, generally, you need a 25% deposit for a buy-to-let mortgage. So for a £40,000 purchase, you would need to put down a deposit of £10,000. Then we have stamp duty and legal fees, which equates to around £2,000. And let's add another £1,000 just in case the property needs a little bit of work. So that comes up to a total cost of £13,000 that you would have to come up with. Now, these properties tend to rent out for around £390 per month. If you use a letting company to manage the property, then that costs around 10% of the total rental income. Yes, you can manage the property yourself, but it is much easier to let a managing agency deal with the daily management of that property. You would also have to budget for maintenance costs and void periods, and a good baseline figure for this is around 15% for these types of properties. Then finally, you would have the mortgage interest to pay, which is currently around 2%, but you also have arrangement fees as well. So 3% is a good number for us to use in our calculations. So if you subtract all the costs from the rent, then you will be left with a profit of £218 per month, or just over £2,600 per year. Now remember that the total you would have had to put down initially is £13,000. That covers purchasing the property, stamp duty and legal fees, and some maintenance on the property. And now this property would generate a profit of £2,600 per year. That gives you a return of just over 20% on your money. Now, if you put this £13,000 in a bank account, which currently pays 0.01% interest, then after 1 year, you would have made a grand total of £1.30. But in properties, we have seen that with the same money, you can earn around £2,600 per year. And this is essentially how you can generate passive income from properties. And this is only the rental income we've talked about. I mean, if you added value to the property like we did, then you could remortgage in 6 to 12 months at a higher valuation and get some, if not all, of your deposit back. And this allows you to keep recycling your cash for another property. Now, I've taken an example of a terrace property just because it is what we've been recently working on, but you could apply the exact same principles to larger properties such as 3-bed semi-detached properties. These actually tend to generate a smaller return on investment, around 10 to 15%. But with these properties, it tends to be a much more passive nature. I mean, you'll probably get the same tenants living in that house for many, many years. Whereas with the 2-bed terrace properties, it is less stable. Now, with the current economic conditions and the rising home prices, some people are speculating that property prices might fall by 5 to 10%. But of course, no one knows exactly what will happen and how it will turn out, but I think they could fall depending on how long the property prices continue to rise. So my advice would be to make sure you negotiate hard and factor an additional 5 to 10% safety net into the price of a property, so that an excellent deal today will be a good deal if property prices do in fact fall. Now, it does actually take a lot of time and effort to generate passive income from properties, but the point is that once it is set up properly, then it starts to generate a steady flow of income. And overall, real estate is an excellent asset class for you to earn rental income. So it's definitely one of them investments you should absolutely focus on building. And I just want to make a quick point. One of the major barriers for many people to enter into the real estate market in the first place in order to generate rental income is actually saving that traditional 20 to 25% deposit. Now, a perfect alternative for getting into real estate and generating income is by investing into REITs, or real estate investment trusts, which I've already made a separate video on, so I'll leave a link to that video down below. I mean, with REITs, you do not have to save a big deposit. REITs allow you to take something as little as £100 and start investing into real estate, so do make sure to check that video out. So overall, if you found value out of this video, then hit that thumbs up button. That way you get more of my videos recommended to you. And if you hit subscribe, you won't miss my next video. I hope to see you on the next one. Take care.